Okay, so we've drawn the boundary of the building, and so with that information we should really be able to work out the both the site area and the floor space. So they're two slightly different things, and for the purpose of this project I think you can assume that this area is going to be usable floor space, or as John mentioned to you, if that's going to be usable floor space on the lower level. Yeah. Yeah. So I think on the lowest level it should be accessible and you can use it as floor space, but then on the upper levels it would be void and not counted.
On the lower level it can be used as floor space, but on the upper level it's a void. So does that mean that it's glass? What would come in overhead?
Oh, there's a roof above the ground floor, and so looking from the first floor and above you just see the top of the roof. At the moment it's just a exactly, yep. So it's just it's a bit hard to see there, but it's just a corrugated iron or something roof there. I'll show you how to get a better map as well, which might have a better view of it. Yeah. So I'll show you. We should be able to get a much better view, and I'll show you the really good other site if you don't know to get a better map. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is not good practice, but I'll talk to you about that as well. So I've just gone into layers to make a new layer for the boundary. So I'm going to call it A boundary, and make it my current layer. I like boundaries to be green, and the line weight should be heavy. So I'm going to make this 0.4, so heavier than everything else. And I'm going to make the line type boundary. So I'm going to go to the load, and so border I mean. Okay, so I've made my new layer, and I'm going to draw a polyline, and we can assume here that the boundary follows the external wall of the property. So let's turn ortho off. So I'm just tracing to the corners here and then down. It may in fact not follow this line, it might be set back, but most likely that's the shape of the boundary. And I'll show you afterwards we can extend it out, but it's nice to have it as a continuous polyline just to get the area initially. So really what I wanted to show you is how to use the area command. And so you've got two options. I'm just going to type area, enter. So the first option is just to click points. So if I click on this corner, that's my starting point, 1, and then over to the next corner, 2, 3, 4. You can see there it gives you a nice little graphic of the area you've chosen, and then enter to finish. Then it will give you the total area, but it gives it to you in your current units. So remember, our units are millimetres, so that is square millimetres, which is never a fun thing to work with. So remember, you have 1,000 millimetres to a metre. So how many millimetres do you have in a square metre? How many square millimetres? Just almost 1,000, exactly. Yeah, 1,000 times 1,000, that's right. So a million. Yeah, that's the way maths works. So you have 1,000,000 square millimetres in a square metre. Millimetres, that's right. you have 1,000,000 square metres in a square kilometre as well. So that's just what you need to remember when you have those units. So if you're given, yeah, that's right. So you just need to count the decimal places. So here, so if you're going from millimetres to metres, you need to move 3 decimal places when you're converting into square metres. Into metres. When you're converting to square metres, you need to move 6 decimal places. So that's all you need to remember. So when you get a number like this, just move the decimal place across 6 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that gives us the number. And you should always, just in the back of your mind, think what sensible sizes would be. And if you end up with a figure like 3,000 square metres or 30 square metres for a site like this, then alarm bells should be ringing, and you know you're a bit out. Do you know maybe what a good benchmark for a size of a standard unit would be? So yeah, 100. That's right. 100's a good one. So 100 for a 2 or 3 bedroom unit is fairly typical. Yeah, it is. It's on the generous size, on the generous side, but 60 for a 2-bed is pretty tight. Yeah, 70 for 2-bedder is okay. 60 for 1-bed is all right. But there would be 2-bedders that are 60. They're just very tight. For a studio, anything under 50. Yeah, I mean there would be 1-bedders that are under 50, but that's pretty tight as well. And a lot of the new with what is it, SEP 65, the new controls basically force you to have much bigger areas than previously. So it's getting larger again. But I know until recently they've been getting pretty small in Sydney. And you go overseas, and you know, in centre of London and other cities, Tokyo as well, they have where property's still expensive relatively. They have much smaller areas, but you know, New York, all those places. But again, it varies. So, like I said, 100 is a good thing to remember, and then 50 or a little bit more for 1 bedroom, and then because it's roughly 10 or so square metres for a bedroom, and then you have all the circulation space and the other things you need, bathrooms and other things. So then, again, looking at this area here, you could see, well, just by visually assessing it, that you could fit maybe 3 units in that area, 3 or 4 maybe, and so you know, you can probably tell just by looking at it, it should be around 300 square metres. So I'm going to copy that number to the clipboard just by selecting the text there. Great thing you can do in AutoCAD is right click on that area and use copy. And you'll see why that'll be handy in a moment, because like all these things, you're going to be using it in your report, and it could even be worth displaying on the drawing. So I'm going to note it right now on the drawing. Remember, we've done the setup for the scale. So I'm going to make a text style. We haven't done the text styles yet. We did the dimension styles, but again, we didn't do text styles. So I'll make that for you. In fact, we didn't even do dimension styles with this drawing yet, but I know we did it with the previous one. So I'm going to make a new text style. Maybe just call it notes, and I'll set the height to make it fairly large, 3.5, like sort of medium height. And I'll just leave it Arial for now. So I'll make that the current style, and make it annotated. That's really important if you're going to use the scale down here. And then I'll draw some multi-line text. And so I can just straight away note site area, and then Control V to paste that number in, remembering we need to move the decimal place 6 places to the left, so that'll be 368 point something, but again, use some common sense there and maybe round it off to maybe 2 decimal places is enough. And then, now if you want to put meters squared, so it gets percent. Now sorry, in the old days it was percent and something, but I don't think that works anymore. No, depends on the way you're doing it. So you can use a different font there. So I think it's Technic. But a really good trick there is to use the old Windows utility character map. So you can just search for that on the start menu and you'll find it real easily. And go to a font like Technic, where you'll find all these superscript options with any luck. They should be here somewhere. Here we are. So there's superscript. Sorry? Yeah. The ASCII, yeah. Yeah, you can put the ASCII in, but you can just copy and paste it from here. So if you go to character map, you can just place it in here, copy to clipboard, and then go to AutoCAD and paste it in. So that's an easy way of getting superscript. Yeah, just means raised above. But just make sure that you don't have the font still on Technic when you go to do your next line, or it'll give you unusual characters. So I've just changed it back to Arial, and we'll do the floor space next. Okay, so the side area you can see there is within the boundary. Now the floor space can vary, and you really should look up the way that council define it, and with any luck in the DCP general provisions it should give you a definition. But you'll have to maybe search for that, and I might just Google it anyway because it's probably, in fact it might even be, sorry, not in the general provisions, in section 1, maybe in there. Anyway, you have to search for it through the DCP. Like I said, if you Google it you might have more luck finding it quickly. So Sydney City Council floor space definition. Let's just see. No, okay, so they're just referring you to the DCP, which isn't that helpful. Don't worry about that. And again, just referring you to the DCP. Okay, so I'll let you check this and find out exactly the way Sydney City defined floor space. But one common method is to do it from the inside wall, inside of the wall face. Council often will tell you it's got to be from the outside of the wall, but just to show you something different, I'll do it from the inside. So here you can just make another layer, floor area, I'll call it, and we'll turn this layer off once it's been used. Okay, so I'm going to draw a new polyline over the inside there. So this is going to be for the ground floor. I'll just close that using the C shortcut, and then there'll be another one for the upper stories. So we've got those two polylines, this one here over the entire ground floor area, including that void section, and then this one that doesn't include it. So, so I'm just going to use the area command. So instead of picking points, you can use the object option. And you don't even need to type in anything, you can press enter, and it'll ask you to select objects. So I'm going to just select that polyline. When you can see again, it's giving me an area in square millimeters. So just like before, I'll bring up the command history, copy that to the clipboard, and then go and change this to floor space, ground, floor, and then again Control V to paste, and then 6 decimal places to the left, so 335.56 is what I've ended up with. Here, let's make that bigger. So I can just copy and paste that text for the square meters. And then I'll just copy and paste that whole line onto the next level. And so again, just typing in area and then enter, I'll select the other polyline, which gives me my new area there. So again, 6 places to the left, so 318.64 is what I've ended up with. You definitely would make that neater in the end on your drawings, if you're going to include it on your drawings, which you probably should. But at least it's there for now, ready to go when we need it. So hopefully that helps you to work out your planning controls.